I've lost my power!
Okay, since the beginning of Genshin Impact, somehow we're implicitly told that the Fatui army or Tsaritsa or the Abyss Order is the bad guy in Genshin Impact and we need to fight them later on. But as the lore goes by time to time, we also learn that Tsaritsa and the Abyss Order are not the only organization or group or whatever it is that could be the true villain in Genshin ending story. Yes, Celestia might be the true last boss that we need to fight to save Teyvat. But for today, we're not gonna talk about Celestia or the Abyss Order. We're gonna talk about the almighty Tsaritsa, as there's so many mysteries around her. And believe it or not, for some reason, I think some of us might have overlooked these possibilities of how we will not fight Tsaritsa at the end of our journey. Interesting, right? And talking about interesting stuff, before we move on to our main discussion, let me introduce you to our sponsor for today's video, Loot Bar. Loot Bar is a website where you can recharge your in-game currency, including Genshin Impact Primogems. Loot Bar has successfully processed over 171k top-up for Genshin itself. Woo! One of the reasons for their success is their price. They offer cheaper price than what it usually costs in Genshin in-game top-up section. Every banner I usually top up at least the 1900 Genesis pack, which cost me about $30. But with Loot Bar, it will only cost me $24. What a great deal! But some of you must have thought, is it safe? Well, Loot Bar conducted their recharges through Genshin's official channel, which will only need your UID and server to finish your top up, so you don't need to worry about the safety of your account. Every top up I've done in Loot Bar usually only takes around 10 to 15 minutes to be done, which is make it even better. They offer a safe, quick, and cheap option. So make sure to check lootbar.gg for your next top up. So now let's move on to our main discussion. So first of all, we label Tsaritsa as the main antagonist in Genshin's lore is because her organization, the Fatui, they did some or a lot of terrible things throughout the lore. But if you realize, Fatui members usually work under one Harbinger, and if we take a closer look into mysterious Fatui letter that we can get during the strongest opponent, the biggest crisis event quest, it implied that Fatui members hold respect to their commanding Fatui Harbingers, expressing a deep attachment to their Harbinger they're under to the point of taking matters into their own hand to curry favor from them. If you look into Child's voice line about the knave, he kinda implied that some or maybe all of the Harbingers joined the Fatui for a different agenda. They have disparate method and motivation, which led to frequent internal squabbling and mutual lack of respect or trust among a number of its members. So there's a possibility those crimes that they've done is not a direct order from the Tsaritsa, but from the Harbingers themselves, like this motherfucker for example. And to be clear, I'm not saying that they're actually good guys or something, but at least the Tsaritsa might not be a tyrant like what we think she is. And I believe we will not fight her as the final boss or second final boss at the end of the story. Why? Simple. It's because she cannot, or at least she didn't have enough power to fight us anymore. If we listen to what Dainsleif said in Genshin's trailer,
she is a god with no love left for her people, nor do they have any left for her.
Her people has no love left for her. Me personally, I took this word as Snezhnaya's people has no trust or faith left for her as a god. And if it's true, it will be problematic for her. As it's stated by Nahida in the Archon Quest Chapter 3 Act 5, people's belief or faith is the source of Archon's power. Well, she still gained her power through presiding over her respective region, but it might be not enough. Why again? From the previous Archon quest, we could learn that gods can imbue objects with their power. Raiden A likely imbued the Shogun puppet with some of her power, as the two of them were equally matched in the transient dreams. Focalors split her divinity entirely from her body when she created Farina, which kinda mean Archon can place their power on something that is not even tied to their body. And if we look into Tsaritsa, the delusion might be an item that holds her power in it. We know the Fatui Harbingers are a group full of powerful people. Even Nahida said 3 highest rank of Fatui Harbingers possess a power comparable to gods. The question is that power originally came from them, or is it also enhanced by the delusion? Because it said that the Harbinger's delusion was personally granted by Tsaritsa. So if that's the case, it opened the possibility that Tsaritsa's power that's stored inside the delusion is not in a small amount. And if you also remember, when Child fight the Narwhal, he needs to be in his Foul Legacy form. While the Foul Legacy is not actually part of the delusion power, it's still enhanced by the delusion, as Child still be able to use his electro power. And now imagine if she gave her own power, not to 1 but 11 Fatui Harbingers, and maybe some other Fatui members too. For example, if you listen to Mirror Maiden's voice line, she said this:
Her Majesty's power flows through me! This is Her Majesty's gift!
It kinda strengthened the point that Tsaritsa has given some portion of her power to the Fatui and Fatui Harbingers, whether it's via delusion or something else, which will cause her to be weakened to the state where she won't be able to fight us in the future. Moreover, Traveler is gaining his or her power back from time to time in each region. And like I said earlier, Tsaritsa is still gaining her power to presiding over her region, but at some point she will run out of that power. Maybe when we reach Nesnaya, she will act tough to keep all her plans going, but she knew she cannot keep it that way forever, which is why the gemstone description said this. But then again, all of this is just speculation. Feel free to agree or disagree. But what do you think about it? Let us know in the comment section. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.